In this video, let us explore based on the two examples how a method returns a value and how it provides more reusability and how it makes code as simple. If a method is returning the value, those kind of methods, the methods which returns value, those methods provides more reusability and those methods makes code as simple. So based on these two examples we will explore. So first one called prime number demo. It is a main class. We need to provide main method and class name is prime and we will write a method called boolean is prime. So based on the parameter integer, it has to return the value true or false. If it is boolean, it has to return true, otherwise it has to return false. So first thing, so we need to provide int flag equal to 0, just write for loop for int I is equal to 2, I less than num and I plus plus. If num modulus I equal to 0, if any one of the number is satisfying this condition, those flag equal to flag plus 1, that is not a prime number. So immediately we can break and we can come out of the loop. If flag is remains 0, that returns 0, that returns true, it means that is a prime number, else return false. So if a method is returning the value, so as per our definition, it provides more reusability and it makes code is more simple. So how it make it is code is reusability and more simple? We'll explore with multiple examples. First one, since it is a instance method, we need to create an object. Obj is equal to new prime. First we need to approach. In first approach, obj dot is prime. I'm just supplying the value called 23. So since it is returning the boolean value, I would like to store it in a boolean v1 is equal to. Now you can try to print the value now. v1. So it provides true. It means the 23 is a prime number. So only for this true or false value only we can able to get it. So no, we can make more and more complex program also we can able to write based on the return value of one method. So how means print prime number from 1 to 50. So we can print the prime number from 1 to 50. So how we can able to do this one means for int I is equal to 1, I less than is equal to 50 and I plus plus. So in order to segregate the output, we can make it as a S out for segregating the output purpose. So within the body of the function, if obj dot is prime of I equal to true, so I can able to reuse the existing function which is returning the value S out. I can just provide the value called which one, or we can provide in this also print I, comma also we can just provide. So as soon as if we can execute, it prints the prime number in between how much? 1 to 50. Only those prime number it is printing. Suppose I need to display the find sum of prime numbers in between 1 to 100. So how we can able to do? Again, you can use the same for loop. For int I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 100, and I plus plus. So we can declare one variable int sum equal to 0. The same if condition we need to provide obj dot is prime of I equal to true. Sum is equal to sum plus I. If we can print sum of prime numbers between 1 to 100. So this is nothing but sum. So as soon as if we can execute, so immediately we can get the sum number called 1061. So if we can observe this particular program, we have written a method one time. Based on the return type only, we are displaying as the given number is prime, and based on the return type only, we are extracting the prime number in between 1 to 50. Based on the return value only, we are finding the sum, and based on the return value only, we can find the count of prime numbers. So we can write one more program, find count of prime numbers in between 50 to 100. So int count is equal to 0 for int I is equal to 50, I less than is equal to 100, and I plus plus. If obj dot is prime of I, if that is equal to true, we can increment the count. Count is equal to count plus 1. So again we can able to print count of prime numbers in between 50 and 100. That is count. Again if we can execute, it provides the result as the count of numbers are 10. In between 50 to 100, only the 10 numbers only available, prime number. So if we can go for this particular example, if we can explore this particular program one more time. So we have written a is prime method. It returns a boolean value based on the given integer value. By using the same method return value, we can able to print the numbers in between 1 to 50. We can able to find the sum of prime numbers in between 1 to 100. We can find this count of prime numbers in between 1 to 100. In all the cases, we are reutilizing the existing code. The is prime method we are calling wherever it is required, we are calling, and we are simplifying our code. Not only for reusability, we are using simplification also. Suppose without return value, if we can try to do these three activities, so we have to write a separate method only, we need to write it. If we would like to write a method with void, so we have to write as three separate methods we need to write. There won't be any chances of reusability. Since because of this particular return value, we can able to reuse the code. This is the one example. In second example, so write a method has to return addition of two integer matrix. Yes, I would like to take one more example here. Matrix addition demo. Since it is a main class, it should have a main method, and we can create a one class called matrix addition. This class contains a method. Since it was performing the addition of 2D array, the return value is 2D array, get addition, get matrix addition. Here we need to supply the two parameters, int y. So since this particular method is returning the addition result, so we should create a one more array, int c is equal to new int of number of rows, or is nothing x dot length, that indicates number of rows, and x of 0 dot length, that indicates number of columns. Now we can write return the array called C. So now we need to write the for loop to perform the addition of two matrices, int I is equal to 0, I less than x dot length. So here the precondition is the x and y, these two matrices having equal number of columns and equal number of rows. The number of rows and number of columns are equal. And I plus plus. Actually we need to provide that one as if condition validation. Then only we need to proceed. I'm sorry for it. I didn't use that particular validation. J less than x of I dot length and j plus plus. Since this method is returning the value is equal to, we need to provide x of I j plus y of j. So everything is stored in the third array called C. The same array only we are returning. If we can return the value first, okay, how we can able to reusable the code? Suppose based on the result, I want to find the sum of all elements. I want to read only the first row of the elements. I want to read only second row of the element. I want to read only the first column of the element. In order to do these kind of activities with respect to addition of two matrices with respect to void method, we supposed to write, suppose I need to perform 10 actions based on the result. So I supposed to write 10 different methods, I need to write it. But here return the value one time and reuse it. Okay, based on your, depending upon your need, you can use it and you can perform your the specific action. So first we need to matrix addition, obj is equal to new matrix addition. So now obj dot get matrix, it need on two matrix now. So we need to create a two matrix A of is equal to, we need to create a one 2D array, 3 cross 3 array will supply it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again one more array, int bf is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, 80, 90, A, B. So we can store it in a one. Since this get matrix addition method is returns an array, the result in the form of 2D array. So we can store the result in a 2D array, int. So we can take the array name as ARR is equal to, it is a result array. So based on the return value, in our case, which is the return value? ARR. Read elements from return value. Return. So simply we need to read the elements now. So in order to read the elements, int I is equal to 0, I less than ARR dot length and I plus plus. For int j is equal to 0, j less than arr of I dot length and j plus plus. So now we need to provide arr of ij as soon as if we can execute based on the written value, we are displaying the result. Illegal start of expression, yes, we can fix this particular one. So where exactly it has a issue? Matrix addition. So here we have provided one extra rectangular bracket. So again expected. Again we will fix this particular. Again it contains one extra. Again if we can run this one. So it provides the return value. The addition return value it was providing. So just based on the return value, we are reading the elements from the return value. Suppose I want to perform sum of all elements of return value. Return value. I need to perform the sum of all elements. So how I can able to perform this one? So again we can use int sum is equal to 0. Again we can write the same for loop now. For int I is equal to 0, I less than arr dot length. Based on the return value only I am performing the second action. So int j is equal to 0, j less than arr of I dot length and j plus plus we are doing. So now we supposed to do sum is equal to sum plus arr of ij we need to perform. So now we can able to print the value now as out sum of all elements. So it's nothing but a sum. As soon as if we can execute, it provides the corresponding sum result. So 495. Have observed here, we are not declaring any separate array. Based on the return value of the array only we are doing. So the based on the return value only, we are reading the elements. Based on the return value only, we are finding the sum of elements. And suppose I want to do one more action. The action is in this way. Subtract 10 from each elements of return value. Return array or return array elements. So what we supposed to do here means we have to subtract the integer 10 from each element. So how we can able to do this particular one? So again we need to write a method int for loop int I equal to 0, I less than, same return value only we need to take. So everything I would like to do based on the return value only I am doing. For int j is equal to 0, j less than arr of I dot length and j plus plus. So now we would like to do system.out.print. We need to perform arr of ij minus 10 So again if we can execute, I would like to segregate the output. I'm just using again if we can run the first one we are reading the elements, the second one we are finding the sum of all elements, this one we are subtracting the 10 with each element from the array. Suppose I want to read only the first row of the elements. Read first row of elements from return array. Return. So how we can able to do it here means, for int I is equal to 0, I less than arr dot length and I plus plus. So I would like to print arr first row. First row means the row is constant and I need to provide the column as I. So as soon as if we can execute, it has to be display first row of the elements. It means 11, 22 and 33 only it's supposed to display. Similar way, I need to perform the second row of elements, third row of the elements, first column of the elements, elements in diagonal, any activities also I can able to do. See, have you observed one particular thing here? Based on the return value only I can do n number of action. That is the power of the return value. If the method is returning the value, based on the return value, you can find the sum of all elements. You can subtract each element with 10 and multiply by each element with 2 also, or you can read only first row of the element, read only second row of the element, the n number of activities you would like to perform. So if you would like to do these many n number of activities with respect to void method, those many number of methods you are supposed to write it. But by using return value, we can reuse the code, and it makes our code is more simple. Okay, that is the power of the return value. Thank you.